Everyone, I'm now calling this meeting to order. Please stand with us. We'll be led in prayer by Alderman Gallagher. Please remain standing after that for the Pledge of Allegiance. That'll be led by Alderman at Large George Payne.
Heavenly Father, we come before you to ask your blessings on tonight's meeting. Lord, we thank you for this special time of year when we get to celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Lord. And Lord, I pray that you would help us all to be a little kinder and friendlier to one another, Lord. And Lord, I pray that you would be with us during this board meeting today and help us with all the decisions. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda this evening is the approval of minutes from the November 15, 2022 meeting.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is the Southaven Fire Department release. City Attorney Mr. Nick Manley.
Yeah, previously, the board had approved the Southaven Fire Department working with the Southaven County schools or different school associations as part of training and mentoring for students who may have an interest in firefighting and paramedics. So tonight, we're just bringing this release for the board to approve. So each individual and/or parent will sign the release before participating in the program. So just need approval for the form of the release so that the fire department can start getting these signed for that program.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for emergency repairs.
Yeah, this resolution authorizes emergency repairs in the amount of $6,764.85 to upcharge plumbing associated with the bathroom repair in City Hall. There's a couple items that weren't anticipated once the repairs began, so the resolution ratifies those repairs as needed for the bathrooms in City Hall.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Kelly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a contract with the DeSoto County Sheriff Department.
Yeah, this contract we've done before. It's the authorization for the DeSoto County Sheriff's search and rescue team. They utilize the Stoughton Grove irrigation pond to train, and so as part of that contract, they agreed to indemnify us along with providing their certificate of liability insurance. No cost to them for doing it for the training, but it allows them to use our pond for that training, and they coordinate with West Brown before doing anything. So just authorization for the mayor to sign that contract with the DeSoto County Search and Rescue Team.
I'll make that motion. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was looking here, it doesn't list us as an additional insured, it just lists us as certificate holder. So we may want to we may ask them to add us as an additional insured.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get that. We'll request that.
Okay. Andrew, you can note that in a minute. Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. Next on the agenda is a recommendation for bid awards.
Dan here?
Dan, Mr. Dan Cordell.
You switch sides on us.
Mayor, board. We have three tonight. The first one is Gitwell Road Multi-Use Trail. It connects Nell Road, that stretch between Nell Road and May Boulevard with a connected multi-use trail with it. It's gonna be on the east side. We're gonna correct the drainage and put piping and everything. Right now, it just sheet flows onto a side road ditch. The low bid was $662,872 with Phillips Contracting. We're recommending award tonight and asking for approval from the mayor to sign contract documents, any and all documents.
I'll make that motion. Do we make one motion or?
You can do all these at one time.
Okay.
Okay, would you go through
Okay.
all of them, Dan?
We
And
also
then,
took.
excuse me
the-
a second, so if anybody has a question about a specific one, when Dan gets through with all of them, we'll just go to whichever specific item there needs to be discussion about.
We also had two term contracts this past year that did not renew due to pricing increases related to their previous term contracts. The first one was the striping and marking term contract. We rebid that. Even though there's an amount that we use to review the bids, we actually issue yearly a list for them to do. But to compare bids, the apparent low was Riverside Traffic, which was our previous term contractor. Recommend award for them. The low bid was $380,680, but it is not a set amount contract that we give them. So we're recommending approval for them as the contractor for that term contract. The other term contract is for full depth reclamation, which again we had prior. We don't use it all the time, but there are certain roads that have insufficient substructure. In that case, we use full depth reclamation to fix it. We actually used it around the Lander Center in some areas, if you're familiar. So we actually have two bids on them. We're recommending as lowest and primary bidder Lehman Roberts, which currently has a contract with us on the other citywide paving term contract. Theirs is in an amount of $873,750. We would also like to recommend award to a first alternate bidder to give us the option if Lehman Roberts cannot get to the work in a timely fashion, to give us the ability to use the first alternate Vucon, which we have used in the past and some things. They were slightly out at $894,600. We're recommending award and approval by approval for the mayor to sign all those contracts.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Any discussion on any of the items A, B, or C? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is approval of the final change order and pay app for the field turf project at Greenbrook and Snowden Grove Parks.
This work has been completed for really over a year. We've been going back and forth over the paperwork, but the first thing that we're asking for approval on is a deductive change order in the amount of $14,663.99. We do a full quantity assessment at the end of it to do unit adjustments. It resulted in the negative decrease in the contract amount. So we're asking for approval for that deduct change order. And then we have, based off of that deduction in contract, we have the last and final pay application, which releases some work money, but most of it's retainage that we held until it was final. And that final payment is in the amount of $177,661.98, and that'll close out this contract. We're asking for y'all's approval for the change order first, and then approval for us to process that payment.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is authorization for the Southaven Fire Department to seek approval for bids. Nick?
Yeah, just the Southaven Fire Department's bids, for our current bids and quotes expires end of this year for their, uniforms. Just need authorization to go seek, bids for uniforms via reverse auction and central bidding.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Hoot, second by Alderman Jerome. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoot.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for information technology surplus.
This will just surplus those items not needed for the I-Tech department in accordance with Mississippi Code 172525.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Kelly, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoot.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is the Parks Department Professional Services Contract.
Yeah, this agreement, professional services, is Rose Calisac to help facilitate, run, and host, or not host, but facilitate and run at least 8 softball tournaments at the city parks. It's the same individual we've been contracted with for the last 7-8 years. So it'd be a 1-year contract until the end of 2023. Either party can terminate with 30-day notice, but it was a recommendation by the Parks Director to continue contracting with Rose Calisac as we've done in the past. So tonight we need authorization for the mayor to sign a professional services agreement with Ms. Calisac.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Jerome. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoot.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is resolution for a sole source purchase.
Yeah, this resolution for sole source purchase is with the point of sale system that is going to be needed for the amphitheater, based on the specs that are required, along with the along with the qualifications needed. This was the only First Data Management Services LLC was the only entity that could actually provide what was needed, and it's due to the Mobile Device Act. They're the ones who produce it, who create it and market it. So they have their own POS hardware, their own payment terminal hardware, along with they don't have to have a separate third-party gateway, and then it also has a perpetual inventory component, which is native to what they create. So this is the only entity that could provide those services that are needed. At this juncture, we're still working on the contract portion of the purchase. So for any approval tonight, I would make it contingent upon us getting the contract finalized, because there were some revisions I had to make to that contract that I'm still waiting to hear from them on. So if we do want to go ahead and approve it, we need to make it contingent upon final review and acceptance of the contract as based on the revisions that have been proposed.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion?
So do we want to do that, or we just want to table it?
Your call. That's your call. I'm okay either way. If you want to do it, make the resolution for the sole source contingent upon the contract, and the resolution would not be signed by the mayor until that contract's finalized, where he signs both. That's fine with me. If you want to table, that's fine with me. But if you want to go ahead, I think the only concern is time, and so I know we meet again in 2 weeks, but if it does get finalized later this week, early next week, that 1 week does help getting everything going, because after that.
I'm good with the contingency.
Yeah. Only thing is, after the 20th, 21st, 22nd, between then and the New Year, just being blunt, people aren't showing up for work that much. So I think we did tonight make it contingent, and the mayor won't sign anything until he signs both the contract and the resolution. If it's not done by next meeting, we'll bring it up again. So if that's okay with the board.
Yep.
Good.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoot.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
And that motion carries. Next on the agenda is a resolution for liens.
Yeah, this is the resolution that we do every year pursuant to Mississippi Code 21-1911 that allows us to file the liens for those grass cuttings that were done that were for condemned properties. So tonight, we need authorization for the mayor to sign the resolution and it does include the $250 penalty, which is allowed by Mississippi state law. And these will then be transferred to assessments so that we can still continue to collect on these property cuttings.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is our planning agenda. Ms. Whitney Cook.
So our first application is a subdivision approval of a one-lot subdivision for the Horn Lake Creek Basin Interceptor Sewer District. This is gonna be south of Stanton Road, west of Tulane Road. It's a really odd-shaped lot you see right there, and it kinda hugs the west line of our training facility for the police and fire. Access, that narrow area you've got right there is where the access is gonna come off of Stanton Road, and where the Horn Lake Creek Interceptor Sewer facility is gonna be in the larger rectangle to the south end by the creek line. It is 7.3 acres, and again, it does have a 50-foot wide access drive from the road south to the actual property. It has minimum requirements set forth in the ordinance. It is an industrial lot, and it was voted recommended for approval by the Planning Commission.
Mayor, I make a motion we approve item number 1 on the planning agenda.
Second.
On item 1, we have a motion by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Hoots.
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Our second application is for parcel four of Central Gardens subdivision. If you'll remember, we had a large PUD that came in, which was a mixed-use development. You'll see highlighted there in red, that went all the way from Airways Boulevard on the north side of Rasco and then carried somewhat to the south side where you see that triangle piece. That's the piece in question tonight, just the triangle on the south side. It has been proposed for single-family lots in a gated community for active seniors. And it is proposed as row housing. The Planning Commission did ask for a detailed set of covenants to include the rental agreements, facades, design materials, which you'll see there, amenities and the association dues to make sure that that doesn't fall upon us in the long run. Once those had been addressed, the Planning Commission did vote unanimously in favor of it.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion to approve item number 2 on the planning agenda as presented.
Second.
On item 2, we have a motion by Alderman Jerome, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion?
Whitney, isn't there a creek or a ditch in there with
There
some
is.
flooding issues?
If you go to the master design of this, those are the elevations, but there should be a portion in there. On the south end of this, there is floodway. There's the large creek system and there's floodway. Floodway cannot be built on, can't even put a parking lot on it. They have left that open, and they are proposing that as part of the open space. They're leaving it in a natural setting, so it's not going to be touched. And we are in quality and quantity of water in terms of stormwater, so we'll maintain what's already flowing there, not to aggravate that creek line at that point.
Okay, will some of this help it out? Because I know back years ago, what was it, 2013, when we had one of the heavy rains, 100-year rains, I know that some of the homes on Blair Drive had flooded a little bit.
They're in a flood zone.
The townhomes that were there.
They were already in a flood zone over
Right.
there. 'Cause
This will
we
not
write
be in a
insurance
portion of
on
the
them.
flood zone whatsoever. But what we want to ensure when we come in and build it, like I said, there's a master plan as part of this booklet. You'll see that all of the developed areas where the lots will be, where the amenities are, they're actually located north of it. And then where we've left the natural state is where we'll let the water permeate and slow down as it gets to the creek line. But we'll work with Civil Link the entire time to make sure that the quantity of water going into that creek line is not going to be aggravated. So.
Okay.
And this is a great addition, by the way. I think we saw the initial proposal. Seems like it's been a couple of years ago, but this is, new construction. In our central part of our city, we hadn't had, any new construction in that area in a while. So I think it's a good concept, having the homes there and, the mixed use would be coming in the area as well, so I think it's gonna be a nice little addition to that part of our city.
Looks great, I think.
Yeah.
I agree.
You gonna move over there?
No.
Okay, any other discussion on 2? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Item number 3 is an application for Silos Square Commercial, lots 33, 36, and 38. These are gonna be on the north end of the commercial district, on the north and south side of what's called Market Square Avenue now. The one you have to the far west is where you're going to see the farmer's market come into play. The 2 lots that you see up front are for office uses. I believe they're already sold. And I'll have the site plan and design review in front of you soon enough. But the only thing different with this is there are 50-foot right-of-ways added in for Mayberry Lane, and then it's an extension of the existing right-of-way that we've already dedicated and taken on as a city street. So Market Square Avenue will carry with these lots. They'll build it up to code. They'll dedicate it just as they've done the rest of the Silo Square area, and we'll take it on as a city street. So it was compliant with commercial regulations set forth in the ordinance and voted unanimously in favor by the Planning Commission.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve item number 3 on the planning agenda as presented tonight.
Second.
On item 3, we have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Gallagher. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
And so in an effort not to be repetitive, because the next 3 items are all associated with the same project. A couple years back, we submitted an application for an RV park with some cabins and some open space and some RV settings on the north side of Airways, on the west side of, the north side of State Line Road, west of Airways, behind the C-Store and Berry Bush Lawns Insurance Company. Well, to do the master plan for that, you can see there's 3 different subdivisions incorporated into that master plan. But to do the master plan, we have to have them all in a cohesive subdivision. So the next 3 applications are simply removing those lots that you have with your applications on your packet. They're removing those lots from all of these different subdivisions. One's Ratner, one's Park Place, and one is BLCS. They're actually removing those lots, vacating those portions of those subdivisions, pulling them out, so the next time they come in with a subdivision application, they'll all be combined as one, so that we can formally do the comprehensive design for the RV park, and from a title standpoint, it will all match up. All of them follow suit with the covenants in those that say that if you remove a lot, you have to have the adjacent property owners, north, south, east, west, anything touching that, they all will abide by that. But the comments are the same. They all meet the requirements. That condition is put in the staff report, so we will not record those revisions until those signatures have been put in place, and we will not bring forward the combined subdivision until these are all recorded. So we recommended approval, and Planning Commission voted unanimously in favor of it.
Do we need to do those separately, Nick, or can we just?
I don't know how Nick wants to do it, but it would be items 4, 5, and 6.
Do it. As long as it's in the minutes of approval, you're fine.
Once you, if you're willing to do that, make a motion for all 3, and then if anyone has any concerns among the board, then we'll back up, okay?
Okay. Mr. Mayor, move to approve items number 4, 5, and 6 on the planning agenda as presented this evening.
Second.
We have a motion on items 4, 5, and 6 by Alderman Kelly, second by Alderman Hoots. Is there any discussion regarding any of the 3? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
So our final application, I'm sure everybody's noticed that the Steak and Shake is gone at Southcrest Parkway and Goodman Road, and the black and white building has been removed. Chase Bank did take on that lot, bought it, demoed it, and they want to come up with a vertical Chase Bank. You'll see the design review in front of you, very neutral tones. They're using the cement panel boards, brick for the facade, kind of have a modern appeal to it. There were some comments regarding their lighting, decorative lighting is required, so they're submitting to us kind of a modern design for that. We did make some adjustments to their landscaping and kind of asked them to enhance the Goodman Road area because there's a lot of galvanized metal and overhead power lines that really deter aesthetically from that corner, so they're going to do an enhancement there for us, but we do see it as a positive. It will also lessen traffic there, so as we've discussed in the past with some other quick service restaurants that wanted to go in there, we did a traffic analysis. It is obviously already congested. The removal of one of the quick service restaurants and the bringing in of a bank actually will help that. So Planning Commission saw it as a positive. They did not have any comments regarding the facade itself and recommended approval with those minor comments on landscaping and photometrics.
Yeah, they were out there surveying today, actually. Mr. Mayor, I make the motion to approve item number 7 on the planning agenda as presented.
Second.
On item 7, we have a motion by Alderman Jerome, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries. There is one other item that we tabled at the last meeting. We did not get it on the agenda this time because we weren't done with discussions on trying to frame everything up and finalize the details, but y'all know the discussion we had, the lengthy discussion about the diamonds of Snowden Grove, the request to rezone that piece of property to allow a hotel. And so the board asked at the last meeting that we go back and that we set the conditions for a conditional use permit. And so our planning director has done that, and we were able to meet again today and finalize that in written format, which is the memo that's here tonight. And so just wanted to give the board an opportunity, if you feel comfortable. We feel like it's complete and it's ready now. And if y'all are willing to go ahead and vote on that tonight, just want to give you that option. If not, then we'll put it back on the agenda for the meeting on the 20th. So.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to take it off the table.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to vote tonight by Alderman Wheeler, second by Alderman Flores. The discussion, basically, I'll review that again. Basically, what the concerns that were expressed by the board and by me at the last meeting was because it's such a crucial piece of property in a high-profile location adjacent to Snowden Grove Park and in our entertainment district, we want to make sure that we don't open that up just to any hotel, that may sell out, in the future and become less maintained and less successful as a hotel. And we felt uncomfortable without laying some specifics out there that would prevent that. So what Whitney has recommended, the SRT chain scale is the official rating scale of hotels, and they rate the hotels in the different categories. So what is in that area now is what they call classified as middle upper, and then you could go to upper and upper upscale or luxury. So we know that if we put these conditions on there, that whatever brand of hotel that comes, we won't get into another 45-minute debate about what is this and what's not this, and who this is and who they're not. Like the meeting kind of got a little crazy. So this will guarantee that we don't have to have that discussion. We know that whatever the brand is, that they're going to be rated this, and it will be a high-quality hotel for many years in the future. And then the other thing is, as you'll note, that we indicated that the hotel, not the parent company. As y'all know, many parent companies have subsidiary corporations. There will be different hotels. That could be a range of different ones on the SRT scale. So this just verifies that it's that specific hotel, not the parent company, which is a very good move on Whitney's part. And then the other thing is just indicates that the restaurant must be detached. Obviously, with the hotel of that caliber in this area, it's likely that a restaurant will want to follow that development. And so this just guarantees that it's not just a restaurant that's stuck in the hotel, that it is a freestanding hotel on that same property. So anyway, I think the conditions are good, they're solid, so floor is open for any other discussion.
So this protects us in the city in the future. Say if this hotel chain sells to another hotel, they still have to adhere to this variance.
That condition will stay. It
condition.
runs with the property. It runs with the land, not the actual applicant that comes in. So it runs with the land. So yes, the conditional use there each time we do conditional uses in 5-year increments, and we do it even though something may be there for years and years to come. It allows us to have a check and balance. So in 5 years we check, still compliant, we carry it on. So if at any point in time it sells and a new tenant space wants to come in under that conditional use, we can ensure that it meets those standards as well.
Okay.
And that's what I'm talking about when I say not the brand, but the rating. That one
Exactly.
gives us that protection because, as y'all know, it's very common, it's happened in our city over the years where a new development comes in and it's one thing, then they, let a few years go by and they sell out to another, and then the demand for the property changes throughout our city, and then you're left with a development that's not so shiny as it was, a decade prior to that. So this protects us there, as Whitney stated. So I feel good about it now. Still the concern about it being a little close to the park, because that's kind of jammed in there. But I really believe if it meets these standards, I think the good outweighs the bad. And I think we can work, like we talked about last meeting, work with the architectural drawings and where it's placed on the property. I think we can work around that to make it a good development for us if it meets these standards.
I feel confident planning can address any issues that the city would have with that.
And the last thing I would add to that is, I'm reminding y'all of what you already know, but we're making decisions for what can happen in the future. The property owner, very respectable businessman in our community, have no doubts whatsoever that he's going to try to do something in a quality way. But we have to know that once he sells that property, he's out, and so
Right.
whatever he wants is pretty much without us having standards like this in place, then the city could be at risk in the future. So anyway, I think we accomplished our mission.
Whitney, have we ever done anything like this before? Put any kind
We
of
have
these
conditional
requirements?
use permits on several
But I
uses
mean,
that we have throughout the city.
anything this stringent?
I wouldn't call it stringent. I think the problem you have with this one that makes it a little different is this is in the discussions of the initial branding that wanted to come here. It's the first time we've ever come across one that's never been identified on our scales. We classify our hotels, and we always have classified our hotels under the SRT chain scale. So when we were approached with the initial branding, it wasn't there. So that was something new we took on. And like I said, with it being equivalent to what's already over there, it gave it an even playing field. But it was something we'd never come across, and we want to make sure that whatever comes in there is a vetted, financially stable, good amenities, good price point that's even with everybody else around there too. So have we ever done it to a hotel system before? No, but there was a reason behind it.
And, I know you've been talking with the landowner over there. Is he in agreement with what we have here in the
We've been
memo?
talking back and forth several times. I did get an email from him just before the meeting. He's agreeable to this, and he understands that even when this happens tonight, the conditional use permit still has to be applied for, and the branding still has to come in front of this board in its own formal approval. So he is willing to do that.
Any other discussion?
Nick, do we have to vote to take it off the table first before we vote for the other?
So you got a motion and a second for the vote, so you motion to take it off the table or vote on that, and then you would motion to allow this as your conditional use permit standards that would still require you to come back for the board.
Okay.
We hadn't voted the first time yet.
No.
No, sir.
So is there any other discussion, then we'll do just that. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. So now, is there a motion to approve this? Roll call, please.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is our mayor's report. Have several things I want to update everyone about tonight. The first thing is, y'all know that we've had a third-party contractor to cut condemned properties in the city, and that contract had expired, and we had another company that was stepping up and doing that for us temporarily. And so we started talking about that. Our Whitney and our planning director and our made a presentation to me and a suggestion that we bring that in-house. All of y'all have been frustrated with the amount of time that it takes when we have a condemned property, in the summertime and the grass is tall. And so not only are we waiting on the court process and everything, then when we do condemn it, then we're waiting to get on the contractor's schedule. And so the bad thing about that is a lot of times by the time we get the property cleaned up, then the grass starts growing again, and by the time we go through the process, they're in the same situation. So we do that with these problematic properties all summer long. And so what we're proposing doing is bring that in-house and us start cutting those. That gives us discretion on when we do it. We can do it quicker. We've had numerous discussions about, just cutting the grass. It may cut down on your safety, your rodents, your snakes, your things like that, but it still looks bad. You have weeds growing over the sidewalk, the whole deal. And so bringing it in-house, unfortunately to our guys, that they're probably not liking what I'm about to say, but then I get discretion on what it looks like. And so it's gonna look a lot better. And we know that we have like that. So no vote tonight. I'm just prepping y'all that we don't need to do anything at this point. But the plan is to bring the management of condemned properties back in-house and let our Public Works Department do it. I think everybody will see that as a huge benefit. And so our other goal that's related to this discussion is, y'all know that we've had vacant positions in our Public Works Department for about 5 years now. And we've been struggling to find the people to fill those spots. Our new director, Robert Booth, has come a long way already. I think we're down to only 1 vacancy now. And so the reason we didn't put additional personnel in this budget is because we had ones that weren't filled in the past. And so in mid-year, we're going to be asking to add, between 2 and 4 new personnel. And these personnel can manage these condemned properties during the summer months, and during the winter months they can start doing work on other things, potholes and other stuff, throughout the public works operation. So our goal has been to expand our public works department because we need more workers, and we've just not been able to fill those spots. But the good news is we believe that we're going to get there, and that we can do a better job with the condemned properties. But any questions? Like I said, no action requested. I'll come back before you sometime in March, and we'll start preparing, make sure we got all our equipment and our personnel. So I'll come to you then with a proposal on how we pay for it, how we adjust the budget for that. But any questions tonight about that? Y'all like that?
I do.
Okay. Okay, and then the next thing, we've talked briefly about a major project in our city, the LED street light conversion. This is something that's been discussed for quite a while. Entergy has started the conversion process, and basically what this does is just changes the light fixtures from the old standard bulbs to the new LED. The benefit to the city is it gives us better light, which is always a factor in fighting crime in our city. The more light you have, it's statistically cuts down or is a deterrent for crime, so it's important for that. And it's also important for the delays in getting the service of the lights when they go out. Y'all know we've had struggles with that. The amount of time it takes to get a street light back on, it just never made sense to me that it takes 3 months to get a street light back on. And so Entergy, we've communicated that with Entergy, and so this LED conversion solves that problem too. These things are bulbs that don't go out for a much longer time. So we think this is going to be a great project for us, and the schedule is they're going to go by ward, starting in Ward 1. I understand that they have bounced around a little bit to some of the wards, but the major priority of completion is going to be starting in Ward 1 and going through 6 in that order. And it's a project that's expected to take 2.5 years to complete. But the good news tonight is it is underway, so we're happy about that. Dizzy Dean baseball and softball, y'all know that's been a big thing for our city for many years. As things have changed regarding competitive sports in the United States, it's changed the recreational sports. Dizzy Dean is a recreational sports league. It's a great league, been around for many years. We've been blessed in the city to host the World Series, and we got that extended in 2014 for another 10 years. Over that time period, there have been changes, again, due to just the dynamics of the kids. Like so many kids now have chosen to play competitive softball and baseball, so it has decreased the participation in Dizzy Dean. And so we have seen declining numbers over the last few years in Dizzy Dean. And so we realized that we had to make some adjustments. This is a 2014 contract, and the amount of money that went to Dizzy Dean from the city was based on the participating teams. And that number has been nowhere near in the ballpark as what it was in 2014. So we requested that Dizzy Dean make some consolidations on the, instead of having multiple weeks that they have the tournament, since the participation is not as great as it used to be, We've asked them to do a consolidation of their tournaments to make them bigger, so they're not weak for a lot of days. It's more, kind of more bang in a short period of time, more excitement, more competition when you have more teams in the tournament, and also adjust the pay scale, which saves the city money if there's not as many teams. So we have done that and made a proposal to Dizzy Dean. They have accepted that. And so just want to let you know that I'll be adding that to an agenda to bring that to your attention on a future agenda to approve that. But we feel like it's going to be a healthy thing. Y'all know that we have the agreement with Perfect Game. We think now that having Perfect Game there is maximizing our number of competitive events. We have some tournaments now that we're attracting teams from places around the country that we've never had before. So it just adds to the tourism benefit to our city. But we've been able to preserve the Dizzy Dean agreement too and make it all work. So we got Perfect Game, but then we still have the time for Dizzy Dean as well. So I feel really good about it. It just gives a fun time for all the kids. Whatever your skill set is, there's a place for all of our kids to compete and have a big time. So I think it's going to be a really good thing for us. Moving on, y'all, we haven't forgotten about that. We've been working on that. That's in process. It's just crazy how long it takes to get the materials in to do a change to a traffic, to an intersection. And so just want you to know that that project is underway. It's just taking us time to get it moving. Same thing with Getwell Road South widening project. I mean, it's one of the craziest things that we applied for federal funding for this project in 2015. What's today? December 6th of 2016, or what is this? What year is this? That's a long time. It's 2022. And so we have been begging and crying and yelling and screaming and fighting all kinds of obstacles because it is a major need in our city. And it is that besides a federal or state highway system, it is the most congested area in our city. And we need to get this project underway. And the good news is that I've been told that, we got the bid awarded, waiting to have a pre-con meeting. But the good news is this thing's going to be under construction before March 1. Obviously, we're in bad weather time, but no later than March 1, this thing is for real going to be under construction in 2023. So that's great news for us. Carrying on, Tullahoma and Goodman. Y'all know that that a few years ago we finalized the Central Park Tullahoma multi-use trail that went south from Central Park on Tullahoma, south crosses Goodman Road and goes south on Tullahoma to May Boulevard. As the May Boulevard road is extended from Getwell all the way to Tullahoma, there's going to be another multi-use trail through there. So at that point, which should happen in 2023, that will connect the trail all the way from Baptist Hospital. We put in designated bike lanes down Clarington. Those cross Sweeney and go through Central Park and then come out to this multi-use trail on Tullahoma. Then they carry southbound across Goodman and they're going to connect to May. So when that connects, all the multi-use trails that have been done at Snowden Grove Park, one of them that we approved tonight, and the other one that was finished 2 years ago, and then the other improvement, it's going to connect all those, and this will be the longest pedestrian trail in the history of DeSoto County. So that is in sight. So in 2023, we expect that to happen. I have had just a few conversations with MDOT. I know they're tired of me talking about this, but I don't know about you, but I don't feel comfortable crossing Goodman Road on my feet, and so we've had discussions about, just like we have a pedestrian bridge over Getwell, we've had discussions years ago with MDOT about a potential pedestrian bridge that would go over Goodman. Obviously, that's extra money for them. They're not too keen on the idea. And so if we can't get that, then my plan has been to always do something different here to catch the attention of drivers. Y'all know Goodman Road is an animal of its own. The traffic that's on Goodman, the speeds and everything, it's very dangerous. So what I have requested from MDOT is that they allow us to do extra painting on the street, striping to mark the road on both sides of Tullahoma, and then to put extra signage there to just send that message way in advance. Y'all may know this, but many trucks, big trucks, make a decision before they get to an intersection. If you don't know this, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but they make a decision before they go through the intersection if they're going or not. So regardless of what happens with the traffic light, they make a decision in advance if they're going to stop or if they're going to go. We've had some serious accidents on Goodman Road in the past because of that. And so for that reason, I want to do signals in advance of the intersection to send that message to drivers that, hey, this is not normal Goodman Road. This is a special section. It's got a pedestrian crossing. It's time to notice, to slow down. And so we've been working on that to get approval and a permit from MDOT. I did achieve that this past week. I got the go-ahead. And so now it's just a matter of designing exactly where we want it and what we want the striping to say. Y'all approved an extension of our striping contract, so that company will be the one that does those markings. But what I've requested is something like you would see it where the pavement is painted at I-55 in Goodman, where they have the lanes, like, you know, you have the signage, but they have paint on the pavement too to tell you which lane to get in. So this would be something that way in advance would say, you know, caution, pedestrian crossing, something like that, with extra signage and things like that. So anyway, we're working on that and had a little bit of progress this week on getting MDOT to agree to that. But it is exciting that eventually there's going to be, not me, but there'll be people that are crossing the road right there. And that is, let me scan my list. That is basically all I have this evening. Anybody got any questions for me about any of those topics?
Hey, have we heard anything else back about the debris vacuum truck? I mean, whether sweeper guys are gonna do that?
That's something that we're looking at a bigger picture. We're wanting to get our own crews. Like, as you know, we have a change in leadership in our public works department. And so Robert Booth is our new director. Robert and I have met numerous times. We've ridden the city together to communicate areas that we think we can do better in. And so we're getting that project underway. We got our new personnel doing other things now, sweeping those intersections, doing things that we can do with hand, and that has already occurred. So some of the islands at the intersections where you'll see little pieces of debris from car wrecks that accumulate there, we're already starting to get those swept up and cleaned up. So we're already doing that with this new conversion in personnel, but then we're going to revisit what you requested. That's still on the table. After we get this going, we're going to go back and look and see, is it feasible for the existing contractor to do this, or do we need to look at buying our own equipment? So that's something that we're still in the process of analyzing that, but I will report back to you on that.
There's several of us that don't know who Robert Booth is. We know the name.
Robert Booth, would you please come forward, please, sir? He loves attention, so he was waiting on this opportunity.
I mean, you know, I've asked several people, and they go like,
This is Robert Booth. This is the
you're the legend. We've heard all about you.
As of October 1st, 2022, this is the new Public Works Director for the city of Southaven.
Right.
That's it.
And I know he doesn't like to talk about himself, but I'll just tell you this: he's in this position because he's the man that we want there. This guy is he's a problem solver. In the 10 years that I've been mayor, I've relied on him for so many projects, and you know, Bradley would be the first to tell you that he relied on Robert a lot. Robert has been the superintendent of our streets for many years, and that goes from everything. Anything that has to do with streets, Robert's done it. Robert's been up in a bucket truck on Goodman Road putting street signs. He's done everything we've asked him to do. He's a very skilled guy as far as equipment, anything construction wise. He knows the equipment. He knows how to manage the people, and he's just done a great job for many years with our streets, and now he's adapting to his new role as Public Works Director. But so far, since October, he's done an outstanding job.
Hope I can continue on.
How much gray hair did you have before you started?
I had some, but
So
now it's starting to come out.
that's not happening like in the last month, has it?
It's starting to come loose.
Hey, I'd rather turn gray than fall out.
I'm getting some of both.
But Public Works, as y'all know, is a very broad department.
Oh, yeah.
Public Works, the things, and Christy Faulkner can vouch for this statement, the things that people get the most excited about are their garbage pickup, which sanitation is under his authority. All the sanitation, he manages that, and then your streets, your potholes, your street lights. That's the man that takes supervisory authority, you know, over all that. And so in animal control, you know, we have Perry Mason, that's our director of animal control, but he reports to our Public Works Director. So those are huge departments, and so it's a big job. So yeah, it's probably gonna have some more gray hair.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
But Robert, that's Robert Booth. So anyway, that's where we stand with, like I told you, we're gonna make some adjustments, and that, looking at that additional equipment is something that Robert is analyzing for us now. Any other questions? Okay, let's move on. Next on our agenda is our utilities billing leak adjustment docket.
Just personnel docket first?
Personnel document.
Did I miss something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
You skipped Nick.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the personnel docket as presented on this date.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Did you have anything, Nick?
Just a couple.
Okay, city attorney's legal update is next.
So,
Couple of quick items that were added Friday and Monday. The first one is we went to bid for an ambulance reverse auction for 2023 ambulance. So it's a Stryker Power Pro XT stretcher with wings and IV pole and equipment hook. The low and best bid was in the amount of $318,106 from emergency vehicle specialist. So authorization to purchase that pursuant to the bid.
Make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Payne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Next is a resolution for a surplus Southaven Police Department vehicle in accordance with Mississippi Code 172525 subsection 5. There was a total loss vehicle from a wreck by travelers, so need authorization to surplus that vehicle to travelers.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries.
And then last is approval to transfer a vehicle, 2013 Ford Explorer, to asset number 5129 to shelter insurance as a claim in the amount of $13,600. It was a total loss, same situation. Insurance is paying as opposed to getting it repaired, just paying the value of the vehicle, which is pursuant to the policy. So authorization for that transfer in accordance with 25-1-47 Mississippi Code.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Flores, second by Alderman Wheeler. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yep.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is the utilities billing leak adjustment docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the utility bill leak adjustment docket as presented on this date.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Jerome. Is there any discussion?
Muddy Waters lives in Southaven.
Get
What?
down.
Muddy Waters lives in Southaven.
I know, I seen that. I thought it was cool.
That
It is
awesome.
cool.
You think it's a relative?
I don't know.
I thought it was funny too, there was a toilet leak.
Yeah.
They're actually, that's a large rental property group.
Oh, okay.
Interesting name there, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you like blues.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is one claims docket.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the claims docket in the amount of $3,524,124.69, including demand checks.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Payne, second by Alderman Flores. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alderman Payne.
Yes.
Alderman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman who?
Yes.
Alderman Jerome.
Yes.
Alderman Gallagher.
Yes.
Alderman Wheeler.
Yes.
Alderman Flores.
Yes.
That motion carries. Next on the agenda is the purpose of determining the need for executive session.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Alderman Hoots, second by Alderman Jerome. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The need this evening is potential and ongoing litigation involving the city, economic development within the city, personnel in the Southaven Police Department, and interdepartmental personnel with no action. So is there a motion to declare executive session?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Gallagher, second by Alderman Wheeler. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Ayes have it, motion carries. The mayor and board will now enter executive session.